Yay, I made it.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live on MOUG. Let's see, who do we have online? Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Hi, James. I'm glad you got your foam. Hi, Christopher. All right, let's get started. So, welcome to today's installment of Facebook Live on MOUG. Today we have a very special guest joining us. He is all things video, from what I hear. Please join me in welcoming Chris Frazier. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, hi, thanks, Steve. Thank you very much for having me on here.
Yeah, of course. So we are ready for any questions that deal with creating videos. Chris is here to answer those and to enlighten you and to help you in any way that we can. Let's see. Hey, Maxim. Hi, Les. How are you? Hi, John. Do you have any questions? Questions for Chris? Just generic questions for anybody? So I did have an announcement while we're waiting. So next week we have decided to hold Facebook Live 1 hour earlier, so it will be at 8 Pacific time instead of 9, and the hope of doing that is so that more people can join us. I guess the people in Europe we're having a hard time joining, so hopefully we'll get that. If that time works better, we're happy to make changes. Also, the week after that, I believe, is the 29th. We will be taking the week off because some of us will be on vacation. Not me.
Not me. I just saw a good question on here from Sherry. Sherry said, "Are you using Google Earth Studio yet?" And yes, actually, I just got access a couple of days ago, and I love it.
And what are you doing with it?
Right now, I've been just kind of learning how the keyframing works with it. It's kind of neat because it's out of the box. You can go in and you can say, okay, I want to zoom into a place, or I want to fly from one point to another. One of the coolest ones, my favorite one, is the spiral. It's where you just kind of, you don't orbit, but you just kind of spiral around and you get closer as you get to the object. So I've been playing around with some stuff for 3D cabin tours where you land at the cabin and then you go into the tour.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. So it kind of adds a little layer of pizzazz to it.
Wow. Are you part of RCE?
I am, yes.
Yep. Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I love RCE.
Well, so all the RCE people should be watching right now and supporting you.
Yep, I see a bunch of them on here right now. Yep.
All right, here's a question from Sherry. Can you add aerial drone work to the videos that you create?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can, the way that I do it, really what I'm offering with my service is just, I'm taking just the screen capture and that's it. You can do, you can upload it as is, or you can edit with a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, I just got a bunch of feedback. Sorry. No, it's okay. So you can do really whatever you want to with the video. You could just take it as is, throw it up on YouTube. You could throw it into Premiere or whatever your favorite editing program is, and you can edit it. You could, you could, if you've got an iOS app that will do video editing, you can drop it in there. If you want to add text and do that kind of stuff with it. So really, it's just a source product that you can build off of. So.
And what do you do with your videos?
Me personally, or
what can you do with a video?
Well, everything. I mean, you can, like, right now, one of the big problems with the vacation rental industry, where I do 3D cabin tours, that's kind of my niche. A lot of people will say, well, I've got a 3D tour, but I can't list it with the site. Then we say, well, okay, let's create a YouTube video of your tour so that people look at it and say, well, wait a minute, they didn't, they're not walking through that house with a camera. That's something different, because you can tell when it's moving through that it's something more dynamic, that it's a 3D tour. So you create that video asset and then use that video asset to show people that are looking for your property that, okay, hey, there's a 3D tour out there somewhere. I'm going to find it. So,
Cool.
YouTube, Vimeo, any of the hosting sites, you could even nest them inside of matter tags if you wanted to. You put them up on YouTube and create a tour from somewhere else and nest it inside of a different tour just as a video element.
Cool. So do you have a screen capture editing software package that you prefer?
It's actually kind of a hybrid deal that I've done. I'm actually using a native iOS screen capture and then screen capturing from an iPad, exporting it into Premiere, and then in Premiere I'm putting the special sauce on it that kind of makes it look smoother and kind of takes out a lot of the glitchiness that they typically get.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it all starts in iOS and screen capping.
Cool. So here's a question from James. Are you using 3D video cameras like Ricoh Theta V?
I've got a Mad Venture. I've not been using the others yet. I've been looking at the Insta360 Pro 2, but it was interesting. And so, but as far as the actual video cameras, not yet. Let's see here. Optimal amount of time. That's a good question, Dustin. Optimal amount of time for the video to ensure that the viewer stays engaged. It depends a lot on the space. I mean, a house is a house is a house. So when you're showing like residential property, I'd say you're probably going to max out at like a minute and 20, unless it's just this really interesting space. I did a project, I guess it was earlier this week, for a client, and it was a suntan place, and all the stuff was bright and colorful and it was pretty, and you probably could have just sat there and watched it for 15 minutes and been like, oh, that's so cool looking. So really I think it all just depends on the place. I wouldn't go shorter than 15 seconds if you want to tease something. If you want to give someone the actual tour experience and let them go all the way through it, then I would go at least a minute or so. Yeah, and it comes out to, using the technique that I use, it comes out to about 7 seconds per snapshot on your highlight reel. So that's kind of how the end product ends up.
Sherry asks, Google Earth to drone footage of overhead of the building to dollhouse overlay, then into Matterport screen capture of the interior of the building. Can you pull all of that together?
Yes, I can. That's not what I'm offering through the service that I do, but I can definitely make that happen. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
Okay, so Jan asks, hey Jan,
Hey.
what do you think of the footage obtained from screen recording the guided tour from the newer version of Showcase versus the old one?
I'm actually going to spill the beans a little bit on my technique. I use the older version, but I actually use the Showcase app in order to show it. So when you bring it into the Showcase app, it's actually showing up in the older version of the viewer. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I attempt for possibility for Google Studio, didn't receive access.
It took me a good, I guess it's a little over a month or so, because some other people were saying, hey, I'm in on Google Studio. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why don't they let me in? So then I thought, well, maybe they've got something that's tracking what you're doing. So I went back and I did all the tutorials. And within, I thought maybe they want people that know what they're doing with it to get it. So I went through and did all the tutorials. And after I did the tutorials, it wasn't but a few days when I got access. So I'm guessing that might
there
have
you go.
To do with it.
Do the tutorials.
Yep, because it is Good. Google and they are tracking you.
And they know everything you do.
Yep.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ted. Teddy. All right, let's see some more questions.
No problem, Peter. Let's see here. Crickets. Chirping.
Wow, hey, Paul. Nice to see you.
So one thing I will say, when it comes to screen capping, there are two different versions that you can do. I mean, in workshop, you've got the option between slideshow and walkthrough. And in some of the earlier testing, and bless her heart, Sherry Rennick put up with a lot of my early experiments trying to figure out how to get the formula just right. And thank you, Sherry, for putting up with me through that. But there were a lot of times that things would come across really streaky when you were transitioning from one spot to another in walkthrough. I adjusted with recording speeds and everything else. And so you really have to determine what your project needs. If you just want to do just a slideshow that fades to black, fades back in, back to black, then put it in slideshow mode. If you put it in walkthrough mode, it's going to give you that, hey, I'm going through the building feel. And keep in mind that walkthrough mode is going to let people realize that it's a 3D tour, where slideshow mode, you know, you can pull that off with a panorama of anything. So it kind of makes it stand out. Oh, thanks, Sherry.
I know. Sherry's super awesome. We love Sherry.
She is.
So there's another question. So how do you know what the optimal number of snapshots in your highlight reel is? I have seen some incredibly long highlight reels. I don't know what other people think, but I don't know that I could sit through 100 snapshots, to be perfectly honest. So what do you find is like sort of the best?
Again, it goes to do with the space. It really depends on the purpose. If you're creating a video clip, like early on, one of the things I was trying to do is replicate the automated teaser videos that you guys offer. And so I was like, okay, well, how do you do that? And there it's just simple. You've got a starting point, a midpoint, and an ending point, which happens to be the same as your starting point. So that's 3. You could use 3 snapshots, and you can make a teaser kind of like the ones you can download from Workshop. If you wanted to go in and show a teaser where it goes like you're touring through a house, and then let's say you stop 6 snapshots in and make people want to go see the tour to see more. An ideal thing there, and I apologize to Lee. I need to send Lee some links about this, but YouTube, you could create a 6 snapshot video that goes through, and then it stops, and then it just gives you a link to go see the actual tour. So that would be a way to just say, hey, we got you. Yeah, and you could do that like with Facebook. You do the 6 steps and then a slate at the end that just says, click the link below to interact with this tour or jump into this tour. So one thing I like to use is explore inside, that kind of thing. Just words that make people that have never seen a 3D tour jump up and say, hey, I want to go in there. So.
Yeah. Wow. Those are great ideas. All right. So what if you just have a highlight reel? What's the maximum number of snapshots you think?
Well, the very first order when I went live, I said I'm going to charge $14.99 no matter how many snapshots you got. And the very first client tried that on me, and it was okay. It was actually a really cool place. It was a museum, and it was actually 90 snapshots. So yeah, that was a long tour. So, but yeah, I mean, you could cram as many as you can fit on there, because I'm taking the video offline and then capturing it, which eliminates a lot of the lag. And so if you're wanting to cram 500, I don't know, like from your all's end, what's the most that you could stack in there? Is there a limit?
There is a limit, but I've never seen anybody come to that limit. I have a personal limit, because I can't sit personally through 100. That's like, no.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's when you can have to set it and forget it and let it capture and then go back and watch it.
Well, even just playing it, I tell people, 100 is a lot. I personally think, 1 per room. So if you have a house that has maybe 20 rooms, 20, 30 maybe, but any more than that, it's just like, you're going to start losing people, I think. But then again, I have some real estate agents that just put it on a loop and play it in an open house, and then that would be perfect, right? So it doesn't really matter where you're at. So it depends on what your use case is, but
that actually brings up a very good point. There's something that I've been wanting to actually like try with some people, that somebody out there probably would give this a shot, and message on here if you've already done this, but creating a video of a tour and putting in information, like let's say you're a real estate agent, and putting information on there saying that we provide 3D tours and showing examples. And in this case, I would jump in and out of the dollhouse. I'd be like dollhouse, inside view, dollhouse, that kind of thing. And then putting that up in a real estate agent's office on a big screen and having it loop so that people coming in say, "Whoa, you do this?" And that kind of deal. So I'm just kind of curious if anybody's already doing that. But,
yeah, cool. That would be like cool advertising, right?
Yeah. Show people without them having to interact with it. I see a couple of questions here, don't we?
MOUG challenge. Break the highlight reel with 500 snapshots. Dustin,
Woo!
Go for it. I want to know what the limit is.
Yeah, just please don't send me that highlight reel to capture.
Yeah, and then send it to Chris. I dare you.
If you do, I'm posting the results on MOUG so that people.
I'll pay the $14.99.
There we go. Awesome. Oh man.
Okay. Carrie Michael Collins says, what is the best way to capture outside and garage features for the floor plan while not impacting the visual tour?
For the floor plan, but not impacting. I don't know, Dee. What do you think? Do you think maybe duplicating the?
So you just want to capture those scans to get your floor plan. You can then either delete them afterwards and re-upload, or you can hide them, which means that nobody can get to them. But if you hide a scan, it still will keep the 3D data from those scans in the dollhouse view. So if you want it to completely go away from the dollhouse view, you need to go and delete it. I usually tell people to make a copy of your model first and then delete any scans that you don't want.
I actually did that yesterday. My grandparents, we just sold their house, and just for sentimental reasons, I wanted to have a tour to be able to just throw on goggles and go back sometime. But we also have stuff inside the house that we're going to be selling. So what I wanted, like as far as furniture, and so what I wanted to do was scan everything, even the garage, and then come back and cut the garage out. So I did what you said. I duplicated it and sent it up, and then. Now I'm sticking matter tags on all the furniture I want to sell until it sells, and then disable the matter tag.
So now what you have to do is figure out how to make the furniture disappear when it sells.
Ooh. I think I know a way that we can make that happen, but the terms of service.
Hi, Harlan.
Hey, guys. And Barry, to answer Barry's question about the sample file, that's a very good question. I will make a downloadable MP4 of the sample, not the one that I have on my page because of the licensing rights on that, but I'll make a sample file that people can download. I mean, it's just a regular MP4. So I'm not going to be hosting it anywhere else. I know my media bumpers, I host those on Vimeo, but with these, I'm literally giving you a download box, Dropbox download link, so you can download the actual MP4 file, and it's yours to do with whatever you want, however you want, wherever you want. So
cool. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Dustin accepted your challenge. Okay. I'm in trouble.
James asks, I have a client that would like to show the videos in their shop window on a big screen. How can I improve the resolution?
Really, like I mentioned before, was using the iPad to capture it because it's got higher resolution when I screen capture. The finished file that I send out is a 1080p, so it's pretty high res. I'm working on a 4K option. But I can't really talk about the details of it until I get it working. But yeah, so I would think, if you've got a machine that's going to do 1080, there's this whole thing about distance. If you can have a 4K TV, and if you're not within like 7 to 8 feet of it, looking at it, you're not getting all. Might as well just have a regular HD TV up there. So I mean, that's what I would do, is just get a screen that's going to do 1080p, and then go over to my website and let me convert it for you. So
cool. Carrie Michael Collins says, what about the pools, decks for floor plans? If you want the floor plan team to include pools and decks in your floor plan, what you need to do is send support@matterport.com an email immediately after you place your order and ask us to have those included. And we would be more than happy to pass that request on to the floor plan team, and they can usually do that. However, if you have a deck that's really odd shaped, or a pool that's kind of a funny shape. Sometimes they do struggle with that, but we would let you know. So you don't necessarily have to scan those. Or sometimes I have customers who will draw in, here's what I want you to put in as the deck, and they're usually, pretty good about working with us on that. So
cool. Best advice for taking a screenshot in relation to creating the highlight reel. As a photographer, also, one of my things is like the whole verticals being right.
yeah.
So it depends on where you're panning in the shot. So when you shoot with your camera, if you've shot like I do, I think it's like 5.5 feet for everything, because my wife's like 5.2, and I'm like 6'3", so I'm kind of like somewhere in between there. When I capture that, I try to do my screenshots. I try to make sure that all the verticals are upright and look good. And the other thing too is, if you want, it took me forever to figure this out, but to navigate from place to place in a walkthrough video, if I'm going straight ahead and I'm going to go around the corner that way to my next shot, then the camera is going to be panning and then going and turning that way. You kind of have to play around with it to figure out what direction it's going to pan in your final walkthrough, based on. That made sense in my head, but it came out completely stupid. So, just play around with it, figure it out.
Well, the rule for panning is if I'm at one snapshot and I draw a line from the front of my face forward, the next, I look at the plane of where the next snapshot is. If it's to the right of me, it'll pan to the right. If it's to the left of that line, it'll pan to the left. That's the rule. Okay.
There you go.
However, it doesn't always work that way, but that's the way it's supposed to work.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's perfect. Let's see here. Downloads. The download, I'll put the download on the website. Am I allowed to say my web address on here, or
sure?
Is that okay? It's mattervids.com, and it takes you to my Tri-Reality page. And there's just a sales page on there where you can order the videos. You just give me the URL and then pay through PayPal with a credit card or PayPal.
So if I want to get a video of my Matterport space, I contact you. But what if I want a video of, like, I want you to put my drone footage with my Matterport? You can do that too?
Yeah. Just go to the contact box on the page there, and then we can discuss. I can get you a custom quote for that. So I can really, I've been at it since 1992. So
wow.
I was 12 years old, and my grandfather had a VHS camera that he got for Christmas, and I used it more than he did, and was a professional before 96. I was working at a TV station and then did some ESPN work and everything else. So I've been doing video forever before I even thought about doing Matterport. So if you need it done, I can take care of it for you.
And what's the turnaround time? How long does it take?
Right now, I'm guaranteeing 3 days or less for the $14.99. But if you look below that, there are rush options. And it basically just says, use the form on the right to see if I'm available. And if I'm available, I can pull it off. But I don't want you ordering a rush job and then, like, I'm out shooting 3 cabins today and can't get it. And you're like, I need it yesterday. So just check with me first. If I'm available, we can do it within 12 hours. Yeah.
Cool. And you do the signs too, right?
Yeah, we do the Matterport signs. This is a one-sided. They're all double-sided, but this is just a sample. But yeah, we've got this is the standard one, and we ship these directly from the printer to you, and they come out to $10 a piece in a pack of 15. So yeah, I'd love to sell some of those. And so they're the premium signs. We basically order that, and then we round the corners in-house, put the grommets in them, and send them out. So it takes longer to get them, and they're more expensive. So that's why I'm really trying to pitch the standard. So
where's my sign?
Here's your sign. I will hook you up.
I actually see some people have those in the office.
Oh, do they? Oh,
I think our fulfillment team has them hanging up. I need one for my house.
Okay, we'll get you one. Yeah, I'll get an address and we'll ship it out.
And right now, I think about Harlan every day because I have his artwork on my desk. Perfect.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you, Harlan. All right. When ordering videos, do you automatically loop them? Also, is there a special order background music feature? And our client logo, intro, outro option? If so, how do we indicate this on the order form? Good question, Dustin.
That's a really good question, Dustin. At this point, that would be a contact me feature because we've but I will incorporate that. I basically wanted to get to a point where I was like 2018 was a year of you need it, I can do it, and I would throw all the different bells and whistles, and I've historically learned that I overcomplicate things sometimes. So I decided to start 2019 on the side of okay, let's just keep it focused on one product or a couple of products, and then if you need something, let me know and we'll make it happen. But if you throw too many options out there, it confuses people. But I will find a way to incorporate those solutions. But yeah, the answer to your question, Dustin, is yes, and we'll get it taken care of.
So, that's cool. If you can have music, right? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I've got access to some royalty-free libraries, and we can get you some really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think music just puts this more professional touch on it. I like it.
Yeah. A lot of the cabin tours that I do, I've got like a little banjo song that I kind of play behind them. So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. See here. And yes, that's right, Dustin.
So do you do media bumpers? Please.
I do.
What is a media bumper? Can you explain that for me?
Sure. Yeah, media bumpers are basically just short little teasers that we design that were focused toward a specific niche. I kind of created them when I was early on using Matterport because at the time I didn't see a lot of promotional material as far as like advertising video wise. So they were just short little snippets that would kind of direct people toward your service. At the time, I would walk into a place of business and show people the tour, and they've never seen anything like it. They didn't know what it was. It was, hey, who's this wizard and what's he doing in my shop? And so the idea was to kind of get people's eyes turning toward 3D tours and the whole thing. It expanded. It's gotten to the point I've been working with Dan at Lead Around and been putting together different packages over the past year. We did a lot of different specifically to address different issues like Google Street View. What is it and how does it help? All of those different features. And it's kind of morphed and changed over the years. And actually right now the website is actually down because I'm merging it into what I'm doing with Tri-Reality. Part of the whole keep it simple, stupid thing, trying to pull it all into one place. So if you're interested in media bumpers, give me a shout and I can guide you to the information. But yeah, right now as a standalone website, I've got it down just to kind of readjust. So.
Cool. Wow. It sounds like you're doing some awesome stuff and you're really helping Matterport service providers sort of add that extra value to what they offer. So that's pretty cool. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. And Peter, yes, Audio Jungle is amazing. That's one of them.
All right. Well, it looks like we're out of time. I wanted to say a huge thank you, Chris, for joining us. I think you've been super awesome and you've given us a lot of really good information. And I hope that if anybody else has any more questions, they can definitely contact you. The website was posted on here. You are super awesome. You are very good at what you do from what I know. And Matterport thanks you for helping us and for helping our users add value to what they offer. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's time out of your day, so we appreciate that.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you, Dee.
And again, I want to give a shout out to my lovely assistant, Adam, who we couldn't do this without. And thank everybody for joining us. Again, this is Facebook Live on MOUG. We absolutely adore having you. We enjoy doing this once a week. It's a chance for me to reach out, to say hi to everybody. And so it's lovely. Remember, next week we will be on 1 hour earlier. So next week it will be 8 o'clock Pacific time, which is 11 o'clock Eastern time. Don't forget that. And also RJ, our new CEO, will be on with us sometime in the month of February. So stay tuned. We will let you know the exact date when it has been firmed up. And we hope to see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Dee. Cool.